Wonderful. Well, as you guys continue doing that, I am going to go ahead and get things started. We're a few minutes past the hour, so to be mindful of everybody's time, welcome. My name is Jenna Nilo. I am the Director of Marketing and Outreach with Illinois Digital Educators Alliance. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you to our friends from Google who have joined us to give you guys an opportunity to do some Q&A. As I said, it's your chance to Google. So ask questions and hopefully get some answers. So before I turn things over to our Google folks, I am just going to do a few quick housekeeping items. We do have 3 people here from Google, so while they're talking, others will be monitoring the chat. So we are going to ask you to utilize that chat feature that you just did to introduce yourself as a way to ask your questions. That way nobody's talking over one another, and we'll get everybody's questions in there. Again, there's going to be plenty of us monitoring that chat and getting those questions answered for you either live or via chat, depending on, I guess, what the question is. Regardless of whatever it is, tomorrow you will get a recording of this session. So we are recording, just FYI, and you will get a recording of the session as well as a copy of the chat file. So anything that's put into the chat, you will also get as well. So keep an eye out for that email. It will go to everybody who registered for the session today. Also, if you're looking for professional development hours, you will get 1 PDH at the end of this session. So please keep an eye, again, in that chat. I'll let you know when it's coming, but I'm going to put that PDH link in the chat, and only live attendance gets that. So make sure that you click that link right away, fill out the form, and so that you'll get the certificate of completion for your PDH for that. And I think that's it. I don't think I'm forgetting anything, although I feel like I am, so who knows. So without further ado, let me introduce Blaine, Matthew, and Mike, all from Google. Blaine is the Google for Education account manager for districts with under 5,000, but he's going to explain all that for you guys and hopefully get some of your questions answered. So I'm going to mute myself. I'm going to turn my camera off. And then you guys, again, use the chat feature, and let's get some questions answered for you. So thanks so much, Blaine, Matthew, and Mike. We really appreciate you guys being here today.
No, it's our pleasure. We're glad we were able to put this together. So what we're going to do today, I want to take just a little bit of time and talk about my role, what I do for the state of Illinois with Google and districts. And secondly, we'll talk about the elephant in the room. Some of the issues that we're dealing with Google Meet, G Suite, and upcoming features. And I'll go ahead and address those head on. And then we just want to do an open Q&A. We don't really have any agenda. We just want you to know who we are, that we're here available to support you, and what directions you can take when you run into issues or questions. So just a little bit of background on our role. Prior to this year, Google did not have any sort of account support for smaller school districts. They had mid-market, higher education, but really had never worked with smaller school districts. Our team was put together at the first of the year, and we were launched right at the onset of the COVID crisis. So along with all the districts scrambling around, we had to get in and, one, make sure that make as many districts aware of us as possible. But really our primary function, as it still is to take feedback from you, the school districts, back to our development and engineering team. When we started off, I'm sure all of you that had ever used Meet were aware it was a very simple product, really didn't function properly for the education system and remote learning. As we jumped in and started talking with curriculum directors, IT directors, and other members of the faculty and started getting feedback, it became very clear that there were several features that we needed to have in place, whether we were going up against Zoom and the features they had, or features that we were hearing directly from the districts that they wanted to have in place. So we began that development process with our engineering team with high priority and moderation features. making this more usable and more, I call it teacher friendly. So we added simple things like noise cancellation, just to make the speaking and teaching a little more clear. We added moderation features, added the recording feature, and those features continue to be added. Not fast enough. I agree with every single one of you and the frustration of not having certain features ready in time for the school year. We'll address that a little bit, but those features are being developed with security being our #1 focus. The one thing we don't want any faculty member to worry about or any school board meeting to worry about is being bombed. So any feature that we add will be well tested, and it will be secure and will be within the G Suite domain. So that is our role. So over the past few months, I have been trying to reach out to as many districts as possible, typically via email, to introduce myself and to have conversations and to offer support and to answer questions. Obviously not enough. There's some of you that I recognize. Keith, I appreciate you being on the call today. I know you have a lot of questions. We're going to try and address those as directly as possible. I know that each and every one of you is really going through a difficult time. We did not anticipate that shift to remote learning as aggressively as what it has been for this fall semester. We've been trying to adapt both within our team at Google and within our engineering group to address those issues as quickly as possible. But everything that we do doesn't even come close to what each one of you put up with on a daily basis. One, trying to get the features in your hands that you need to conduct successful remote learning sessions. 2, security, making sure that you don't have to worry about being bombed and that your students are safe. 3, accessibility, knowing that we have to address privacy issues. Background blur, which is being introduced just for those reasons. We know not every student wants everybody seeing what their house looks like. We know that there's accessibility issues when it comes to special education, and making sure that all of those are addressed properly so we can use the breakout room as a waiting room, for instance, if we need to do or if you're doing one-on-one teaching. Adding the features, the Q&A and the polling, and then eventually adding translation, instant translation, to enhance what we do with the captioning. So we've come a long way. I will be the first to say we're not where we want to be, and I know that we're not where you want to be, but we're here to support you. So I am available at any time. You can reach me. We'll give you my contact information. You're welcome to email me. You can also ping me with Hangouts chat. Also, if you're in urgent, you can try phone call, but I'm typically tied up a lot. But if you chat me or email me, I can try and get back with you as quickly as possible. Let me tell you what I am not, so that you can understand also. I am not technology support because I spend most of my time in conversation with districts. I don't get time to dig into G Suite and know it as well as what I would like. So I'm not tech support, but I'm here to support you to get you to the right people. And if we need to escalate, I can assist you with that. I am also not a Google Classroom expert. I wish I had more time. I am a certified Tier 1 Google for Education instructor, but I don't get a lot of class time to play with it. So again, my job is to get you to the proper resources. So that is where we're at. And so thank you. Don't be so hard on yourself. You know, one thing that I think people learn with me, I am real, and I don't try to hide behind things. We need to get stuff to you and help you out as quickly as possible. So, anyway, let's talk just a little bit about some of the current issues that we're dealing with and where we're at. We're very aware of the CPU issue. I spoke with the head of engineering yesterday prior to this meeting. They do feel they have a solution in place. I do not have a time frame other than it was with utmost urgency that this issue be addressed. We've heard and we're acting on it. So it has been escalated clear up to the VP level and will be addressed, and we do expect a fairly solid solution soon. That is all that I'm allowed to say at this point. Meet features. So meet features, again, we all were hoping to see all the moderator features in place for the beginning of the school year. We were hoping to see breakout rooms, all of those things in place. Because security has been our #1 concern, some of those things were pushed back. If we find a security hole, we're going to take a little bit of time and make sure that things are done properly. So that is part of the reason you've seen a little bit of a delay. But also, as we saw more and more districts go to more remote learning, we also see the urgency in getting those in place. Internally, we've seen some of these features show up on our Meet. We've had a chance to play with them. They're extremely effective. They were developed with your comments and your directions in mind. It isn't what we decided we thought it should be. We've taken the feedback from you and built it around that. So timeframes, officially, breakout rooms is still scheduled 3 to 4 weeks out. We're hoping to see that pushed up. I'm not allowed to go any further than that, but we understand the urgency and when that's coming. So with that, that's about all that I can spit out at this point. So I am just going to open it up. Now is Q&A time. It really is your time. Any questions you have. So Keith, yes, we are dealing with that. I just had an issue this morning with Lombard School District 44 with that very same issue. That is a moderator control. I haven't had a chance to dig in yet to see what that time frame is, but that is being rolled up to our development team this afternoon as soon as I'm done with this meeting as a high priority. So I'm very aware of it, and we want to see that addressed. You know, issues of students being able to just call in without having that knock feature it can create all sorts of problems. And one thing we have found, students can be very creative when it comes to disrupting a class. So we have to look for and anticipate when those issues happen.
Blaine, real quick, does Zoom have like kind of the, like a Dory kind of where people can type in their questions and then we can read them off, or is it just kind of the chat thing?
Just the chat is what we're using for now.
Okay.
So we'll address them as they come through. And so let me jump to the next one. Okay, so let's come back to Mike, your question there. I'm the one you contact. Let me help you with that. So you can just generate an email to me and I'll push that through. I've spoken with several districts that had tried to get information on the enterprise, and they were not getting any response either from resellers or Google. I can get that taken care of in a matter of minutes. So please just email me directly and I can get that taken care of for you.
Put it in the chat. I'll put your email in the chat.
Okay. So people without a Gmail, we have a Q4 release. Right now, with Enterprise, you can stream up to 100,000 people, but they do have to be registered within the domain. So we are extending that out to outside of the domain, but it will be a Q4 release towards the end of the year. I don't have a time frame other than it's Q4. Okay, so give me 1 second here. Okay, other features coming to breakout rooms and attendance. Attendance is also being released for Meet. And so that is also, I think, was a Q3, but I would anticipate seeing that in October. That is a enterprise feature. So there have been a lot of questions around what is built in Enterprise versus what will be in the standard G Suite. The simple way to explain that, moderator features are in the standard G Suite. Enterprise features will include attendance, polling, Q&A, and breakout rooms, and full recording. Now again, based on feedback that we got from the districts, the recording is a big issue. So instead of just cutting recording off on September 30th, when those enterprise features will no longer be available for free, we have brought out temporary recording, which means you can record a meet and it will store it for 40 days. And then that will be taken off your drive. Okay. So from there, so Jenna, can we open it up so that the people attending can actually speak?
Yeah, anybody can unmute themselves that wants to. It just, you know, you're going to end up with people talking over one another, but as long as you guys can handle that and people don't get frustrated, just go ahead and unmute yourself. Anybody can do that.
Yeah, feel free to unmute and speak. That'll be fine. And
I'm going to jump in then, if you don't mind, Blaine.
You bet, Keith.
You know,
You're always
you have
welcome.
limitations on what you can tell us and stuff, but you know, we need some information that we can take back. Other than that, it's coming. I mean, I had a conversation with you and Ann over a month ago, and I was told then after I signed the NDA that, you know, we're having a meeting tomorrow. We're going to have some big news coming out. Things are releasing. A month later.
It's been very frustrating, and we have heard you. And one thing I'd mentioned, you know, even Mike Patterson, the head of our G Suite team, asked me specifically about you and your district. It's been frustrating. Part of the issue have been some of these issues that came up with the CPU usage. We had to divert some resources to that. That was not anticipated. We also had a couple of holes in the moderator features that were released that were kicking students out of some meets that was unintended. We had to correct those. So unfortunately, when we run into those, we have to make those things right and still move forward. The other moderator features are in the process of being rolled out weekly. Typically, we see that on Thursday. And then we can know specifically what's going to come out for the week. So last week, I think it was the
background blur, which only some people are seeing.
Right, that one's being staged. But the presenter lock and the chat lock were both released last week. Those are all staged, so they don't come out to everybody at the same time. But you should be able to see those tools showing up on your.
How will we know they're starting to hit our domain?
It'll show up basically in your settings and your controls. So when you're looking at your Meet screen, the first thing to look for is up by the chat box in the top right corner, see if you have a new tools icon. And then the second spot will be in the settings. And so if you go into settings, if you've seen background blur, it shows up in your settings.
We have, and I have one staff member that's seen it, so that's informed me, but nobody else has.
Yeah, so those are coming, but you know, we hear your frustration, and as part of the team, we feel the frustration also. There's nothing I hate more than talking to a district, and especially you know, you where you're in IT. It's exceptionally frustrating when you've got teachers really either wanting to switch to a different platform, like you had the case, or a superintendent. You're trying to keep it all within the Google realm and a little more manageable, and you're not getting some of the features that we were looking for sooner. The breakout rooms got pushed back because of a security feature, or that we wanted to just make it a little more secure. What we should do, Keith, is I've got a meeting tomorrow with Mike and during our office hours. Why don't you and I schedule a call either tomorrow afternoon or Friday morning, where you've got NDA, we can talk a little bit more frankly, but let me take some of those specific questions regarding your district to the engineering team and see if I can dig out some more specific answers for you and
Schedule
see where we're
it,
at.
I'll be there.
Okay, I'll put it together. Let's plan on Friday morning. Would that work for you?
It'll work.
Okay, no problem. We'll address it, Keith. You are always top of mind, and I do pay attention to your emails because I really do understand the situation you're in.
Blaine?
Yes.
I'm in Libertyville School District 70, and we right now are running into obviously the same problems. Kids dropping constantly on these Chromebooks, and you know, we've thought about, is it the grid view extension because that's what we're using? So, but our teachers are using it. They didn't want to take it off, you know. So we were about to take it off last night to see if that was going to help our CPU. We did have a dad do some task manager stuff, look at the task manager, and told us by time what the CPU situation was. So that helped us.
Mhm.
But I guess
you
my
looked at the
problem with
meat
Google
quality
right now, my problem with Google right now is that they're being so secretive, that they're asking us to purchase something that we don't even see. So it's like,
Mhm.
oh, come buy this shiny toy, but you can't see the shiny toy, but the shiny toy is going to be great.
Mhm.
And it's very upsetting. We are thinking of, do we ditch this effort and go to Zoom, which
Mhm.
we're kind of like, well, all the teachers are good with Meet, you know, and we're really
Mhm.
having a struggle. We're on the struggle bus here because, you know, they say moderator features, but it doesn't really tell you what they are. We don't see what they are. We don't even know, like, as you just said, you're going to see a toolbox. Well, great. Nowhere in documentation does it have a little picture. I was like trying to find a video, even like thinking that EDU, the little blog, the vlog EDU guys would be
Mhm.
showing it one day or something. I'd be like, come on. I mean,
So
there
Karen,
is
let's do this.
nothing. And it
I can.
seems like it's Google is, honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, it seems like Google is taking education for a ride.
Mhm.
And I'm not
I
upset
can.
with you, but it seems that way. And I'm disappointed, I guess.
I can understand that, and you're not the first one that's brought that up. What I would like to do is, why don't you and I schedule a call? There are certain things, Keith brought it up, we have a non-disclosure that we can put in place for your district, which will allow me to show you a lot more, but I have to have that NDA in place. I'm very happy to do that. You can invite members of your team, and some of the features we have that I can show you live, some of them I have basically in mock-up format. To show you what they would look like, what they'll be. So I am happy to do that with you. Just drop your information, or if you can drop me an email, and then we'll set up that time, and I will gladly address those questions very directly with you.
I'd love to jump in if you don't mind, Blaine.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I don't think Mitch got introduced, so he handles our north central area.
Yeah, I kind of came in late to the Zoom meeting, but I guess the big thing is just product isn't giving us dates on some of these features. So the entire EDU team, you know, trust me, we definitely want these features, and we've been told these features are coming for a long time, so it definitely can be frustrating. The one thing that we've been told, you know, if these features are something that you need right away, then we recommend just, you know, we'd rather you guys go with Zoom. We'd obviously love to have you with us, but if these are features that you need to have, you know, right away, we've been told, you know, go with Zoom and
Mitch, I'm going to
for the
interrupt you
time
right
being.
there.
Yeah,
I'm going to say that we had this conversation a while back, and we were trying to hold off on that, and we were given some information that things would happen sooner than what we've seen, so we did hold off. So basically, part of my decision was based on information that I got from Google. So if you're telling me that go to Zoom now, tell me that.
It just, you know, it depends on how urgent it is for you guys, you know, because we really, I mean, the features could come out tomorrow, they could release them tomorrow, or they could release them in a month. And so
Basically, Keith, kind of where we're at with that is that, you know, it's not going to work for everybody. We'll address yours this week. You know, you and I will hop on a meeting. We'll go through that in detail, everything I have. But what it comes down to is, you know, Google's not going to be an all with for everybody, and you're going to have to make the right decision. I understand what your situation is, and, you know, we'll address it more directly and get you the information because, again, I'm aware of the pressure you have from superintendent and faculty wanting to switch to Zoom. So let's have that meeting Friday. We can discuss it very candidly, and then and then you'll be able to, move from there, whatever's going to work best for your district.
Hey, Blaine, just jumping in real quick. Julie Ryan had a question about the difference between Enterprise and G Suite. Did you want to just talk about that very quickly in just like a minute or two about the differences for those districts that are still wondering what the difference is and why there even is something like Enterprise and why you might want to purchase that?
Yeah, we can go through that. Matt, do you happen to have the one pager on Enterprise versus the standard G Suite?
I have that available. I'll put that. Oh, Matt beat me to it.
So, and then Matt, if you can present that, we'll set up for you to present that to the screen?
Yes, you guys have present rights.
Good. So to answer your question, there's 3 areas of Enterprise that we talk about in general and where the benefits lie. So one is obviously in the enhanced features of Meet and being able to record right now, and then the upcoming features with the breakout rooms, polling, Q&A, and translation. The second area where Enterprise stands out is in the added security. And the main question I ask districts, if you have district Chromebooks that you're checking out to students, so those students actually have the district property in their home, G Suite adds a tremendous amount of security of being able to control those Chromebooks. So being able to control app permissions at the OS and user level. Being able to intercept phishing attacks. If you have a student sends out a malicious email, you're able to go intercept that, remove it from not only the receivers, but the sender's email. It also gives you a big query. So the ability to query anything within the domain, whether it be a classroom assignment, an email, you're able to search everything through there. With this one here, we can go through some of the basics, but that's where we look for most of the benefits with Enterprise. On the front end with the classroom, it does give unlimited originality reporting. If your district's using something like Turnitin, originality reporting will actually do a web reference on a paper if that option is turned on, and make sure there's no plagiarism, no copy and paste. And then it will also, Q4 feature coming in will be a domain search also, or domain reference with that. That's putting it in the nuts and bolts of it with the Enterprise features. Mike, do you have anything else that you have to add on the Enterprise?
Let's see. So I work in the Northeast, and the majority of my districts that are interested in Google, in G Suite Enterprise, they want the Google Meet features, obviously the recording and all the premium features that are coming post-September. So it's mostly, the way I describe it is the Google Meet features and then all the additional features that come with it, like Blaine mentioned, the security, the originality reports, etc. So that's pretty much it. And the idea is to hopefully save you a little bit of money replacing some of these features. Again, like Turnitin replacement with the originality reports, etc. Our security center isn't a one-to-one replacement for something like Gaggle or GoGuardian, but you are able to, dive into the data and analytics a little bit more to see how your district is doing and check out your security district-wide, etc. And the last thing that I would add is Jamf. We have with the Enterprise Edition, a one-to-one replacement with Jamf. If you have iPads or manage any Apple iOS devices, you're able to manage those with our enhanced management console with the Enterprise Edition. Unfortunately, you can't manage MacBooks, but everything else. Again, Apple iOS products, all Windows 10 devices if you have any, and Android devices in addition to your Chromebooks. So just some extras there.
Perfect. So, and answer your questions for each of you that ask about if I have time to meet with you each one-on-one. Of course I do. Absolutely. So just reach out to me, and I've got some of the information in the chat there. I'll follow up on those, and we'll just have a one-on-one. The best part of my job is getting to know my districts, and the more people you can have on the call, the better. Typically, I like to meet with your whole team, and so we can address any curriculum questions, IT, admin, and even teachers. So definitely let's set up some time and answer your questions. Okay, any other questions on the difference between enterprise and the standard version? Regarding Meet, moderator features such as being able to lock chat and lock present and knock and being able to knock people out of the meeting are basic G Suite features. Also, I believe Jamboard is a G Suite feature. So those are all included in the standard. If you want the ability to stream to 100,000 people, have 250 participants, the 7x7 grid view, recording, polling, Q&A, breakout rooms, those will all be part of the enterprise version.
What about, will there be a feature, because it's unknown what little bits, but to show only with videos on? I know Zoom has it, and I know like the grid view has it. So
explain that.
You guys should be good to get rid of the extension, the grid view extension. It should be just built into the regular Meet. And so it could be giving you some issues. I don't know entirely if that's 100% where they're coming from, but
Mitchell, what I'm asking is the ability to only show those participants who have the video on.
I've been able to see that in mine
thing.
In the Meet.
That's why I'm asking.
Let me check on that one for you, Karen.
Okay.
Let me follow up and see, because there are some specifics that have come through regarding video being able to lock the screen. You should be able to lock screen to the presenter. Is that kind of what you're asking?
So we have, it's in the curriculum that music teachers, drama teachers have created curriculum where if 3 people are performing, they have their video on and their videos show. Only those videos show, because those are the videos that are on.
And you want to have multiple,
yeah.
Gotcha. Let me check on that one, because I know there's some limitations when it comes to accessibility and recording, but let me check on that one for you and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we don't have the grid view either, the 49 yet either.
Yeah, that again, upcoming features. So let me get some details for you and we'll schedule that call. Okay, next question. Okay, the silence. I do want to address one thing, Karen, that you brought up on Google, just trying to get money out of the districts and that. So a little bit of background. The original G Suite license was $48 per admin and $48 per student. So it was an outrageous price. When I first started talking with districts in the spring, they had some of those old quotes at that pricing, and that's why they hadn't moved on it. One of the first things that Google did was reduce that price to being free for students and $24 for admin, and that's where they've held it. We haven't got confirmation on where the pricing is going to go after this, because I think they really just want to wait and see what the climate is in the spring and next year, if the remote schooling is really even still going to be as big of an issue. But the intent has never been to build the districts. At the same time, we've got to build something that's self-sustaining. They've actually expanded the support, as you can see in our team, and they've expanded the engineering and development team to get these features out faster. So it was put at a price point that they felt that districts would be able to find a budget and would not be bilking the districts. But at the same time, a lot of the features, the standard G Suite is still no cost, classroom at no cost, standard features of Meet at no cost. Even with the enhanced moderation features, they didn't put all of those in a paid version. We've kept those free for those districts that choose to go there. So that's kind of an answer to your question on what you were feeling. And again, I've heard this from several districts, and we've discussed it many a time.
Blaine, I think it's not so much fine. We know not everything in life is free. I think the problem is you're asking us to pay for something we don't see the product. So we can't even test the product. That's the problem.
Okay, I understand that. And that's fair. And that kind of comes back to what Mitch was alluding to. You know, it's a frustrating situation, but we also understand there's going to be urgent situations where some of these features are needed sooner than we can get them out and get them out securely. And that's where your district has to make that best decision. And it's something that we've kind of tried to tie down better is give us more information. Now, there is a reason Google in the past has not talked about upcoming features, and it is specifically for that reason. However, as we were getting closer to the school year, we were getting feedback from the districts that how can they make a decision if they don't even know what the features are going to be? One specifically had spent over $100,000 on a Zoom license compared to an enterprise license that would have been just under 10,000. However, they were not able to get information about what upcoming features were even going to be in Meet. So when I took that back to our management team and said, look, there's a situation here, we're talking into hundreds of thousands of dollars. So Google made the decision to go ahead and come out with the one pager of upcoming features. That was the whole reason behind it. The flip side of that, it's an upcoming feature. So these are in development being pushed through, but I understand your point. We're looking for you to pay for something that we haven't released yet. But at the same time, if we don't let you know what's coming, then you don't have anything to make that base that decision on. So that was really the decision on coming out and announcing the upcoming features, which is something Google typically has not done in the past.
One thing I will add too is I don't think it's just us. It is super frustrating for us to going through all of this. But I have heard from other districts that are using Zoom that they're running into maybe not the exact same problems, but just problems, you know. So, yeah.
All right, next question.
I'll jump in. I'm in District 46, and Gray's like, we're having issues with teachers not removing students from the meets. They're getting kicked out from the meets, and then they can't get back in. The teacher invites them back in, and we don't have email, so you know the logistics of that. So they're just told to, you know, go back to the link and come back in, but they're not being removed. They're getting kicked out, and they still can't get back in. Any suggestions?
Frustration. So
we got a whole lot of that going on.
there is a whole lot. And again, you know, the timing was horrible because, you know, the faculty is already having so many issues with the hybrid teaching and, you know, don't know if you're teaching face-to-face tomorrow or if you're going remote. It's a lot of frustration, and this just adds to it. So we're very aware of it. It has been rolled up. I roll it up daily to our engineering team. It really appears to be just a glitch in the new knock feature. So the new knock feature was designed to allow the teacher, moderator, to actually remove a student from the class. And then in order for the student to enter again, they would have to knock and be allowed in by the teacher. So students wouldn't be able to just jump out and jump back in at will. However, we have found a glitch where it was kicking some students out, and it seemed to be primarily out of the classroom link versus if you just set up a link through Calendar. So we're very aware of it. Again, working on it feverishly to get it taken care of. So with those new releases coming out weekly, that is another one that we do anticipate seeing it resolved. It's just a matter of keeping our resources on it as we try and resolve the CPU issue that we ran into that was not expected. So that's one. Again, feel free to reach out to me when you have questions. I don't always have the ability to get announcements out. Typically when I get something that's a hard announcement, I'll put it either on Tech Geeks or maybe I can work with Jenna and IDA and be able to release some of that stuff more directly with you. If it's something that you need more detailed information, let's schedule a call. Let's just do a one-to-one with your team, and we can address it that way also.
So I'm just going to chime in. It looks like Susan also has a question, and Kristen, this may be able to help. Not sure exactly how you guys are creating meet links, but one current workaround is nicknamed meets. We can, oh, how's my audio? Sorry.
You're good, Matt. You're good.
Okay. So nicknamed meets is a current workaround as more moderated features are being worked on. And basically what that does is once the teacher can eject all students and or just basically the meet link will then automatically end at that next minute. So if it is 1:38 and 40 seconds, as long as everybody is out of there by 1:39, then that meet link will automatically expire and the kids will not be able to hop back in. Now with kids, we have found out that they have already figured this out. So if you if I know it can be tedious right now, but if the teacher can wait until they do see that screen, that does basically it'll pop up and say this meeting has ended, and then that way kids are not able to hop back in and have unmoderated time. As well as these nickname meets may be a way, Kristen, for the links to be shared. However, it sounds like the way that they're entering the meets may be what's causing the initial problem. So that might be one that you and Blaine could work together on, but just the overall nickname. So yes, the classroom meets should also be nicknamed, which I know this happened like last week. So it may just be something that they just need to refresh. So that would be one option that we could try to figure out.
Yeah, and I think with that also, Matt, you just want to make sure the teacher is the first person to enter the meet also.
Yeah, you can only guarantee that though if they're coming out of classroom though, correct? Or a nickname, and you can't create a nickname linked in classroom, can you? Or you couldn't previously.
So they are automatically being nicknamed now within classroom.
And then you said that happened last week?
Yeah, that's when we first heard about the workaround with either creating your own nicknames or just using the classroom link, which would be nicknamed in the sense of that it gets recycled at that ending time, and then the new one is then created within classroom.
So it's created by classroom automatically. You don't generate a new meet link.
Yes,
am I understanding that correctly?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And you just have to wait a minute, you said, because we're having issues with this.
So yes, it's my understanding that once you close out and or eject everybody and then close, as long as nobody hops in within that 45 to 20-second window until that next minute hits, then that is when it will the link itself will then be like extinguished. The problem is that these very clever
they're jumping right back in.
Have been able to figure that out, that it's within that minute.
So, but is there something that pops up on the screen that notifies teachers that link is now dead, or?
Yes, as long as they wait till that minute mark.
Okay, thank you.
And so one other thing I do want to bring up, when you run into issues with G Suite, Meet, or Classroom, we do ask that you file a case with Google. The primary reason is it gives us scope. So even if it's a small issue, file that case, and then if you'll copy me with a quick email or chat with that case number, I roll that up to our team directly so we can escalate it. And that way I'm aware that if we have a serious issue that's happening, we can get that directly to the team. One issue we've come into is, I see a lot of things, for instance, on Tech Geeks, I'll see a lot of questions going amongst the IT directors, but they aren't bringing them to me or they aren't filing a case with Google. We need that feedback. We need that help from you anytime there's an issue so we can get that filed. It helps if I'm aware of the case number so that I can send it straight up to our team. Matt, do you have the link for filing a case? So I've got one here that I can put in. So this is specifically relating to Google Meet. So that is a way to file Meet issues, log them, let us know if you've come up with anything there. And
Who
being able
can
to
use that, Blaine?
Pardon me, Keith?
Who can submit a ticket?
Typically that would be the admin
So any
at the
of my
district.
Google admin. Okay.
Yep. Mike or Matt, do you know more on that if there's limitations on?
Because you don't want me to send that out to my staff.
No, me, I'm like, open it up. I'd like to hear from everybody, but yeah, I don't know if the whole team would appreciate that, but we do want to know what those issues are.
The only issue that I'll share with that is we often go to Tech Geeks because we can get a faster turnaround on an answer. Now, I know that these are new ground times and you guys need to know that, but like that one conversation you had with my network manager, it was like, if you have tickets on these, it's like, we just haven't had time. We're triaging
Right.
so many other things to take what may be an hour or two a day at least to put somebody on tickets. It's problematic. I understand your need. I do understand your need.
Yep. No, and I understand definitely at the district level, and that's why I monitor Tech Geeks. I try and watch that close and reach out and help wherever I can. But that is just something we ask, provided you can just get that case filed. I like to just hammer the engineering team with cases all day long because the more they see it, they know the scope. I like to escalate them up. So if it's something that is a serious issue that needs resolution right away, we roll it right up to the head of the team and escalate that through. And we've been able to resolve several issues that way, but you just have to involve me. I can't resolve them on my own, but I can definitely get the right resources in place to get these things taken care of. Okay, next question. Okay, so we'll start to wrap up. Let me just double check. Any other questions on the enterprise upgrade that we can answer here? My first thing I'll say is, let's schedule a call and we can address that one-on-one, answer those questions in detail.
I have a question. Google Classroom seems to be, I don't know, I feel like I've been putting in the suggestion forever. It's been around since I think 2018, this one suggestion, and it feels like it's falling flat.
Okay.
How do they prioritize? Like, how does Google prioritize this?
That's a good question. Classroom is actually, there's a lot of development going on around that particular product. They do want to move it to more of an LMS. And once we kind of have Meet under control, we've been told that we will have a map for Classroom and where it's going. But the best way to do that, don't go through the Google, just bring it straight to me. Let me roll it up.
I mean, it's a simple thing. You can't pre-schedule more than 3 or 4 classes, and our teachers have 6 classes.
Okay, so well, let me get an answer for you on that one. I can dig into that.
I would just say feedback.
I've
Google
hit it several times.
I know. I believe you.
Just send it to me. Let me do that for you. That's my job.
Yeah, that was one of the questions I had is like when you have multiple classes, trying to schedule instead of scheduling the same thing, but it's scheduling at different times. So when you have 6 classes and you're trying to schedule something at one time, scheduling something another time, you have to do it individually instead of all at one time. And I know our whole school has submitted requests on that too.
Okay. No, we'll follow up on that. I don't have an answer on that one right now, but let me do some homework on it and find out what the current status is and see if that's if there's any plans to correct that or make it more, I guess, easy for the teachers. But I also will roll that up to the development team. You know, they like to see me roll up those comments several times a week. So feed me. Let me get it to them.
Question for you, Blaine. Does everybody have access to the Meet Quality tool, or is that enterprise only?
No, that's standard access. So I can forward that.
Very helpful in trying to identify whether it is a Google issue, Meet issue, or if it's just a teacher was in the classroom and didn't realize the student was still there.
Do you ask if we find it helpful?
No, I'm saying we have found it helpful.
Oh, good, good. Yeah, it's and I need to get those resources out. You got kind of an early access to that, and then I think the troubleshooting Meet, correct? You have that one?
I don't know if we have that one, but I know we have that Meet Quality tool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're kind of becoming like my test district, Keith. So we have a discussion with you every day, or not with you, but about you every day of getting you. So, you know, don't let off the heat.
All right.
So there is the, which one was I just put on there? The Meet Quality tool. And then let me put this other one here, troubleshoot. So I don't know, I don't use Zoom very much, so I don't know if you can pull these from the chat, but I'll also give them to Jenna, so she'll send these links out with the recording tomorrow.
Yeah, you can pull them from the chat, but also any of this information.
Okay, we'll get that all to you. Okay, any other questions? Okay, well, we'll wrap this up. So, you know, personally, I just want to say thank you to all of you for attending, and make sure you know who I am. I have no problem with speaking, you know, with your districts one-on-one, answering your questions, helping resolve issues, you know, whatever I can. You all are dealing with a lot more than I am, and so any support that we can give you as a team to make your life better. And again, just like I just told Keith, keep the heat on us so I can keep the heat on our engineering team to one, get these issues resolved that you're running into, and secondly, to get these new features out, rolled out securely and as quickly as possible. So I will leave it with that. Jenna, so it's back to you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, everybody. Blaine, Mike, Mitch, Matthew, thank you, everybody who was part of this. We truly appreciate you guys giving your time to everybody to get these questions answered. And I know that, Blaine, you offered a lot of your additional time as well. So thank you for meeting one-on-one with some of the folks here today. I did post in the chat your link for the PDH. I've also posted our link for our Wednesday webinars, where you will find recordings of all of our past Wednesday webinars, as well as the link for our calendar of events, so you can see what other fantastic events we have coming up. And without further ado, I think that's all. Thank you for all the great questions. Everybody else, thank you for all the great answers today. And we're just at the top of the hour here, so thanks for joining us, and we will get you an email tomorrow with all those resources and everything that Blaine talked about as well. So thanks so much, everybody. We appreciate it.